Hey dancers, welcome back to Broche Banter. I'm your host, Julie. Today we have a really heartwarming episode as we sit down with Tara, a vibrant soul whose passion for greyhounds and ballet initially connected us together. Back in school, Tara loved performing in musicals and bands, but never imagined that ballet would capture her heart until she tried it at university. She's overcome serious injuries and the demands of 3 pregnancies, rebuilding her strength multiple times, but she never gave up. Eventually, her determination led her to achieve a dream she never thought possible, dancing on pointe. That same passion fuels her ongoing dreams. Now she's crafting her first album as a musician and aspiring to perform at the International Adult Ballet Festival. Tune in for a dose of sparkling energy, openness, and perseverance as Tara motivates us to never give up on ourselves and to always chase our dreams. And with that, I hope you enjoy. Welcome, Tara, to Broche Banter. I'm so happy to have you today.
Hi, thanks, Julie. I'm so happy to be here.
We first connected a while ago because we both had greyhounds and we love our greyhounds. So any of the greyhound people out there, we are both greyhound people and love our greyhounds. Yours Google, mine at the time was Otis. Of course, I've got Tina too, who's a sort of an honorary greyhound, being a Spanish greyhound. But we love our greyhounds. So that's our first connection, Tara. That was, I think, what really got us connected.
Yeah, I remember it was, I think, during the pandemic, and everybody feeling a little bit isolated. And I remember scrolling and I was scrolling all the ballet stuff. And I remember like ballerina and a greyhound. And I was like, who's this? Who's this person? And I started like following you and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. And it wasn't long thereafter that I was like, okay, I need to join.
Otis was the best dancing buddy. He was always the best dancing buddy. Like he loved to come in after class and play and dance and sleep. And the greyhounds just have such a sweet personality. They're like the best.
They really are. I remember him coming in many classes. I remember we used to see him a lot. We would
Yes.
usually hear him, I think, sometimes.
Yeah. If Tommy was gone and he was crying.
I'd be like, Google, are you okay? Oh no, it's Julie's because they all sound the same.
They all have the same awful like separation anxiety cry.
Totally. And they also have that, I don't know if you guys call it this, but like the greyhound scream of death. But because you'll do something just like, rub them softly the wrong way and they're like, "Ah." But then they're on the other hand, they're super hardy and they'll like have these things happen and they're like, no biggie, my nail's just hanging on.
Oh my gosh.
It's so disproportionate, their reaction.
Yeah, the drama was amazing. Like he'd get like a burr in his foot or something and be like limping, like as if he broke his foot. He's like limping as if the worst thing possible has ever happened. One time when he experienced snow for the first time, his feet were too cold, I think, and he was started running in circles and like sat down in the snow on his little butt so he could get his feet up off the ground. He's like a little kid, dude. It's like the funniest. They're just like a hilarious, delightful breed of dog.
They really are.
Um, so that's how we got connected with ballet, obviously. But our ballet journey has continued then for a few years. But tell me about what your ballet journey was like pre getting to meet you and getting to know you. How did you get started with ballet in the very first place?
Yeah, so I had never danced growing up. In fact, if like child me had been told that I would someday love ballet, I would have been like, no. I was kind of tomboy. I didn't really, dance didn't appeal to me. My parents didn't really put us in activities. We were kind of like free spirits who just like did stuff. And like I started teaching myself like music in high school and then I'd been in musicals like in school. I really loved that. So that was my sort of like intro to dance, I guess. I had learned some like very basic like jazz steps, like everyone can do a grapevine.
The
And
touch, all the right.
yeah, and so that sort of I was like in a band playing music, and then I'd also be in like school musicals. And then when I went to vet school, it was like my second year. I was kind of like in a new city. I was like, I need to, oh, maybe it was my first year. I can't remember. I think it was second year in a new city, like kind of like separated from my normal hobbies and people. And I was like, I'm just gonna try new things. So I like signed up for violin lessons, and that's when I started playing violin, and then dance at the university. So they had, like very low cost extracurricular like dance classes. I think I started with hip hop. So I was like, this looks like fun. And then it just like I was trying like lyrical and ballet. Like there was something about ballet and contemporary lyrical. And so over the next few years, I kept dancing at school. And then when I went into practice, I found adult classes at local ballet studios or dance studios because I was taking jazz, tap, lyrical, hip hop, like anything I could do. But there was something about ballet. So it shifted over time to where it was just like ballet twice a week and maybe a jazz class. And it was like ballet 3 times a week. And it came to the point that right before the pandemic, and there had been, I got to mention this because I've had 3 kids. So in between like regular dance classes, I was dancing with the babies on my back, doing wearing ballet, or with the babies on my front. So there's a picture of me up there with one of my babies, like dancing in front of the river, and she's on my
Oh,
back, and she's doing her arms are out in like a little bit of, oh, maybe not that one, but there is a one where her arms are out in second and mine are out in second. It's so cute.
that's
So I
sweet.
continued to dance until the pandemic, and that's when I kind of shifted everything online
Yeah.
with you, and I found a few others. I was doing some through like one of our Canadian dance studios here, and then a couple in the States who were doing like I think Washington State Ballet and San Francisco Ballet were doing like adult, beginner classes. So it's so cool, and like just started, and I'd see people, the same grown-ups sometimes in some of these different places. There was like a circuit of us. And I
Yeah.
was like, it's not just me. Because like in my community here is not that many adult dancers. Like it's getting over the last 5 years, it's growing. But when I first started in person a lot. So then we moved out to the country and I was like, oh, it's hard to drive to classes. And like just Broche has been the best for me because I can get so many like hours in a week without having to drive and stuff. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was nice to see. It's funny that the COVID in so many ways was a big pivot in a lot of people's ballet. Some people found it too difficult to continue, and other people went like even deeper into it and got into ballet in a different way. So it's interesting that for you, that change was not so much about how you danced, but more about seeing that there were other people doing it like you, and that you thought, oh wow, there's like that. I see that lady all the time in all these classes. I'm like, oh, look at that person. I see that guy all the time, and kind
Yes.
of seeing that you're not alone in this pursuit of ballet.
Yeah, and seeing like all kinds of folks, it's just so cool to see like 60-year-old men or like it was I think I was really looking for community, as I think I generally am in life, and like to find Broche. And even I was late to your message boards, and I was like, oh God, I missed this. 'Cause that's the kind of thing that I really love. Social media can kind of get us that far,
Yep.
or so far. It can only get us so far, and it has a lot of caveats. So it's nice to find other spaces too.
Right. So so you had we started dance in college, and then at some point we had 3 kids and vet school, and all of that took place
Yeah.
throughout. So did you get back to class between each of your kids, or did you have all three and then you got back after all the kids, or how did all of that timeline go?
For during the kids, especially because mine were fairly close together, and in Canada we take pretty long mat leaves, and I took even longer. I was off like over a year with each kid, like year and a half. So they kind of lined up. So it was almost like I would start, like, I would maybe dance a bit when I was pregnant, and then I'd take a little break. And then I would, when they were old enough to do baby wearing ballet, usually around a couple months when they can kind of hold their head up, then I started baby wearing ballet. And I would do that for a couple years till they were so big. They were like toddlers getting off my back, eating snacks between class. And I think I only started going back to like real ballet classes without babies when I was done all three. It just sort
Mhm.
of with my lifestyle kind of made sense. And I was trying to get the toddlers in the like mom and me classes too, right? So
Right. And how was that getting back into it after having the babies? What was that process like for you?
it was a big rebuild of my body. It also kind of coincided with like I don't know, a lot of like the pandemic kind of coming on, and also like me entering my 40s, perimenopause, and my body just totally changing. So I had a whole series of like health issues throughout the sort of pandemic era. And that's when I really started getting, there were some mental health stuff. There was some mental health stuff too. So right around the time I was starting with Broche, I was having a hard time getting out of bed. And one thing I did, and like my partner was so amazing, was like got me out of bed every day to do. I would do a ballet class and I would do cross training. So I did like a lot of like like the high impact, all those like interval training things, weights. And I had no strength. Like I couldn't do a push-up. I had no core strength. I had no upper. I still am like building these shoulders. Like it was a total body rebuild. And it took several years, but I had like that goal of like maybe I'll be on point someday. And that motivated me like nothing ever in my life. You know, I've never stuck with anything so consistently because I was really motivated by that.
Yeah, that's a big those satin shoes, they have a special type of a type of a motivational quality to them. They really do. And of course now you are on point and you're leaving the bar on point and all of that stuff. So how was that journey? Get
It's
shoes.
almost like sometimes I can't even believe it. I'm like, is this real? And there's a lot of imposter syndrome at first. But again, seeing this community grow and we're all supporting each other, we're doing it safely, we're doing it like confidently. Like it's been amazing. Like I'm really happy that I'm connected with folks who have the mindset that this group of folks have, that being guided by someone like yourself with so much openness in terms of adult learners, which just is such a novelty and it's shifting. I feel like you're at the very leading edge of that shift though. Like all the stuff I'm seeing now coming in is like after you've already done it. But yeah, it's been dancing on point. It really feels like the whole weightless floating, like there's something about it. You're embodying the music in a different way. It's ethereal in a way. Um, I don't know if I can put it into words. I think all of us probably have this like really special relationship with dancing on point. Eh?
Yeah, it extends your body in a way that gives you I mean, in the beginning, it can feel limiting because the shoes are hard to operate. But at a certain point, once you get comfortable with the shoes, it gives you a more limitless feeling in your dancing.
Yeah, yeah, it really does. Like you really feel that height. You really, and for someone who's short like me, I'm like 5'3", it's like, oh yeah. I've been waiting my whole life. Maybe that's the underlying.
Now you put the shoes on and you can get things off the high
I
shelf.
can see the band at the shows. I'll just wear my pointe shoes to concerts, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. You know, what I find to be one of the funniest thing about learning and meeting all of you guys online is that I don't know how tall anybody is. Um, I would have not guessed that you're short. I mean, yeah, you have plenty of length in your lines. I would have never guessed that you're short.
All an illusion.
Right? It's all an illusion. And everyone's the same height on my screen, right? Because you're all standing
Exactly.
next to each other. So that's always the funniest thing when we meet in person. It's like, oh my God, you're short. Or like, oh my God, you're tall. It's like so funny that you can have a relationship with people and not know these
Right? Yeah, it's
basic
funny. Yeah.
qualities because you know each other a different way. That's always funny.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
always funny. So okay, so when adults try new things, like you mentioned a little bit about adult learning, which is kind of a special, like different type of thing than childhood learning,
Yeah.
in that you kind of have to carve out time for it, especially if it's something like ballet that's not mandatory, no one's making you do it. Kind of have to carve out time for it. It's kind of difficult, and so there's reasons why it might be easier to just not do it and like do something else instead. So you really have to be motivated to want to do it. So what was it for you that really kept bringing you back to ballet and making it worth it to keep on going?
Like ballet is so therapeutic for me. And I know we all know that about dance, but like, it brought me back from the other side. And I've, even since dancing with Broche, like I've gone through some dips where I've had like a lot of anxiety for, a year and stuff. And like sometimes it's the only thing that either kind of gives me relief from the stuff in my head because I can just meditate, focus on dancing. I just got to do a million things here, so there's no space, as we all know. We love ballet for that. And then all those good like chemicals that when you're moving, like I always feel better after. So I really it's just literally my like habit medicine. And I do have a chaotic schedule, but I just like I go through every week and I'm like, what do I think I can plug in this week? And if I can't make that work, what can I make up for it? And I really put intention into like planning my kind of training week by week. And I think that having the Broche, systems that you've set up, like it's like it's gotten better and better and easier to do that. So that makes it pretty easy to do. Surprisingly, I can squeeze in like I work pretty full time. I have my own little business. I got 3 kids, but I can do like 4 to 6 hours of ballet a week on average. I listen to my body if I'm tired or sore knee, I skip. But like I'm always coming back. I'm like consistency, consistency. A week off, who cares? Come back. 2 weeks off, come back.
Yeah, it's a beautiful attitude. It's really sometimes people can get into this mood where if you miss 2 weeks or you miss 3 weeks, you had to take time off, then it's like, all hope is lost kind of a thing. But just like you said, I mean, life moves, life is rather fluid, and especially when you have a business and a couple of kids and a dog and animals and everything you're taking care of, like sometimes things change and then you just come right back and it's there, your bar is still there
And
for you.
ballet's like, welcome back, you know?
Right. And it's there for you to help you feel better at any time. You also do you still play your music? Tell us a bit about what role music plays
Yeah.
in your life now.
Yeah, so when I was in high school, as I mentioned, like I was in a band and I wrote songs. I love singing and I love singing harmonies, especially. I play guitar, I play a little bit drums, I play the violin. Music is just always with me. Like I've realized some of my neurodivergent stuff is just like I hear Terra radio 24/7. I'm hearing harmonies, I'm hearing new things I've never heard before. My brain's making up stuff. And I've always just kind of been like, that's whatever. I don't have time to be a musician. I got other stuff in life. And around the pandemic, I just was like, I can't get this song out of my head. I'm just gonna hum it into like vocal voice recorder or whatever. And then like some words would come. And like all of a sudden, fast forward to now, I've got 11 songs that I wrote over the past 5 years. And I just put together a little band so I can start playing like shows locally. And I'm hoping that I can have like a little album made at some point. And I have some friends in the music world, and I'm just hoping that maybe the right person will come across it. Who knows? Keep the positivity out there. I like to just dream it into existence, really, a lot of times.
Oh, that's beautiful. How fun is that? That's awesome. I feel like that it's so difficult for adults sometimes to find their joy and to chase their passion and all of that. How has it been for you? It sounds like it took you some time to decide it was worth it to chase that joyful part of your life and to find that passion. So I'm curious to hear more about that, about that.
Yeah, it's like they do a really good job in our society of like making us feel like we're really only good to like be productive, right? That everything else we're doing is frivolous. Like how could you possibly be doing ballet and playing music? You got like that's more important. You should only be doing those things. It's sort of the messaging. But I've always like just not been able to do that. Like I need to move my body. Again, it's almost like working through feelings, even when I'm going through stuff. It's the music, it's the dancing, it's the writing. That's the stuff that's like transmuting the feelings into something else. And then I don't have to ignore those feelings, but I have safe ways to experience them, in these ways. And then before I know it, like those feelings feel like a memory. I just had to go on that journey, but for me, I have to do things like I have to be singing in the shower. That helps like regulate my nervous system. Dancing to music, it helps like I come out of there and my brain patterns, like my brain waves, I'm sure are different after a ballet class.
It's like organized, right? It's like organized. It's moving
Yeah.
in the same direction. It's like all the same.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, did that answer your question? I think I
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
went
it
on
did.
that.
And I'm curious, it's interesting, with as being an adult chasing things that you're interested in just for the sake of chasing it. I think there's so much pressure for things that are your responsibilities and things that you have to do and things that you must do. And so much is overlooked about the how much better you can be at those things when you have an outlet
Yeah.
for the things that are bothering you or the things that are so joyful that you need to express it or whatever you kind of need to get off your chest, right? At how much better you can be at your thing. Like if the goal is to be more productive, then to the people who say that to be more productive, how much better, how much more productive you can be when you're in a positive mental state and when your body is healthy and when you have energy because you're exercising and when you have mental energy because you're not so heavy and weighted down from all the anxiety. And it's like when you are lighter in your mind and in your body, not like lighter weight wise, but like have energy and lightness in your body, you can work more effectively and be a more effective person in so many ways.
So true. It's the old like put your oxygen mask on thing, right? And like
Yeah.
these things are medicines. Like I think we forget about it because we live in a very like commodified, like art is commodified. It's a very capitalist kind of approach to art. But like if we think of all the civilizations that came before sort of capitalism, not to get political, but before like art became something that we sold, like it's intuitive to people. Like humans have been dancing, around fires and singing and beating drums and moving their bodies. So it's like it's almost like if we're not doing it, we're kind of like missing out on something that our little animal self needs, you know? There's something about our species that loves gathering with sounds and movement. And so I think not being afraid to just show up and be like, I know you might be judging me, A, because I'm not perfect. I'm like an adult, scrappy adult learner, B, because I should be doing something else. And just being like, I don't care. I don't care. I'm showing up because this is the most important thing. And then when I have a full bucket, then I can serve others and give to others for sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that ballet especially is such a funny art form because there is like a quote unquote perfect ideal in ballet, and yet we forget that the point isn't to reach that. The point is how it improves your life and how it can improve your your body and how it can help you feel better and how it can help you, not how you can help it. Like we're not here to help ballet necessarily, like I mean
Yeah.
maybe, but in a sense it's like when you are striving for what ballet wants from you, like you're serving ballet, but ballet is really here to serve us. It's like it's a thing that humans made that they thought was cool and we can experience it too. It's not something that we have to fit into like what ballet says that we should fit into. And even that's funny because it's changed so much over time as to what quote unquote ballet says we should be, and that's changed so much over time to suggest, so to even suggest like the current standard of what ballet should be. I mean, that's morphed so much. So it's like very fluid and much more so. And I think that'll stop a lot of people from trying it. It's just that they're not good enough or they're not perfect. Like you said, they might feel like they're judged. And in ballet, honestly, they might be judged for not being perfect because ballet is kind of like that in some ways. Um, but we forget that the point is to move together, like is to move your body and to get better and to have a pursuit and to have something that you're working towards and to have something that gives you, you know, meaning in
Yeah.
a different way, in a different context outside of just your family and your work.
100%. And then, like, we're all going to be like, you could sit and do a Sudoku, but like this too, like physical, mental, like it's longevity. That's a huge reason to try.
Right? Yeah, forget the Sudoku. Try to remember a combination while not forgetting your fingers and not sticking your tongue out. That's the real mental work.
Absolutely.
A lot of adults over the years have various like injuries and various setbacks throughout their journey with ballet. Have you had any like physical challenges coming into ballet that you've had to work through? If I can ask anything in there that you might want to share with us.
Yeah, for sure. So I have like wobbly joints, and I've been one of those people who just like sprain their ankle all the time, broken like 8 bones. So in like this was about 16 years ago, I was rollerblading. I was like distance running at that time. Ballet's way better. And I was on a break from running and I decided to start rollerblading long distance instead. I had a wipeout. I shattered my right leg. My lower leg was in 6 pieces. It was the most painful thing. I've had unmedicated childbirth. This was the worst thing I've ever been through. So they had to put a big rod through my leg and screws to anchor it at the top and bottom.
And like get
And
all 6 of those pieces glued back together.
it was so painful. But eventually healed and I started dancing. I was immediately like, I need to be in a musical. I need to get back into ballet. So I started and I worked with the best. Oh, she's such a lovely Natasha Royka, one of the dancers in town here. And she just kind of was so great at helping me like get back into moving my body after that. I subsequently had to have that hardware taken out, and the doctors wouldn't believe me. I was like, it's still causing pain like a year later. And then they had to pull everything, another surgery. Then I had to come back from that. But I thought, I don't know if I'll ever be able to like seriously go on point or do it. Like this is such a like I'm just gonna be like on flat doing little thing, port a bra forever, chair lady. But like the human body is incredible. And I'm not young. I was like when that happened, I was like, 30 something. Now I'm 40. I went on point at 43. So like you just have to be consistent and just have a plan to like try your best. I mean, we always sometimes life has other paths for us, but like I really the message that I want to share is like don't give up on yourself. Your body is so strong and powerful. Your mind is so strong and powerful. Like work on it. Yeah. you know yeah.
So you've had to like, quote unquote come back like so many times,
Mm.
right? From the leg, the
Yeah.
second leg, kid one, kid two, kid three, like
Mhm.
so many different so many different times you've kind of had to rebuild your body. That takes, a lot of courage to do because like you said, it's kind of easy to give up on yourself and to be like, oh, I won't be able to do this again, or like I've lost everything, or those kind
Mhm.
of feelings can be very overwhelming when you're in those difficult phases.
Yeah, yeah. I think seeing other adults do it, which is why I wanted to share that story too, just like, no, it's possible. Like the generations that came before us, they weren't really doing this stuff. They weren't pursuing athletics and stuff into their 60s, 70s as much as like now folks I see starting. I did see one woman in about a beginner ballet class here in town. She was in her 70s and she would do the bar section on point. And I was like, okay, you're my hero. I want to be you. I want to dance as long as possible. I know I keep going back to the longevity. I think I have some age-related anxiety, but ballet makes me feel young, and all of us feel young together. And I see beautiful 60-year-olds on Instagram in the community. The community online is really amazing, gotta say. So, yeah.
I think the age related anxiety, I think is just so normal. It's just so normal. As humans, we're one of the few creatures who are understanding of our mortality and of our kind of place in this on this earth. And we then have to face that, right? In a way that like our sweet animals don't have to, although we have to face it for them on their behalf, which is also just as tragic, if not in a worse way. But like when we have that extra mentality that we kind of, or that this extra sort of fact that we have to live with and learn to live with as adults wanting to pursue something. And nobody knows the answer to the question of how much time do I have left? How much time do I have left in this healthy body, in this amount of capability I have now? And I think that question can stop people from even starting when they don't know how much time they have or how long they'll be able to do it. It's like, well, I don't know. But if you don't do it now, the answer is zero.
That's exactly it,
It
really.
could at least be a couple of years, but if you don't do it now, the answer is definitely you can't do it at all because you're not doing it. So it's just
Absolutely.
it's a part of the mindset that you have to, and like you said, look for those little heroes, look for those people that are inspiration that can show you beyond your limiting beliefs about what aging needs to look like and what your body does and doesn't do, and kind of watching all of this unfold. I think it's just a unique challenge of being a human that other creatures don't have to deal with. At least we assume.
Totally.
I mean, we assume. I guess we don't know for sure that they
I
don't,
feel like they
but
like just have, yeah.
we're pretty sure that we're the only people, the only creatures who know about this.
I think because we're the only species who wishes we had an instruction manual. The
Yeah.
rest of them are like, I know how to be a dog, I'm good. And we're like, how do I human?
Right. Well, yeah, we it's so true. We also take way longer to develop and everything. It's a much more complex system. And this brain is a wild, extraordinarily powerful instrument. It's like if you have a very simple machine like a pair of scissors, it won't take you too long to figure out how to use it. But if you get a very, very complicated, like one of those jackknives that has 10 million tools in it, it's going to take you some time to figure out how to use all those tools. And so I think with our body and our mind, it just takes like a whole lifetime to figure out what to do with it. What do
I
you
know
do with
yeah,
it?
I know I found some muscles back here that I had no idea existed before ballet.
Right. And you've been living with them your whole life, but you're like, whoa, I didn't know that was there. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I do think there's a huge, huge benefit in seeing people coming before you. I mean, it's always so interesting when you hear about phenomenon about, like, for example, with running, how people can't run a mile faster than a certain amount, but then one person breaks that number and then everybody else, and then 10 people can do it just shortly after that. Same with weightlifting. No one's ever lifted this much, and then one person does it, and then 10 people do it right away. And it's like, what is like, it's just so interesting, like how you said with this watching this woman on point. And I mean, I get a little bit on a tangent with the running, but it's like that mindset of believing that it's possible is like number one to even trying.
Right? Yeah, it's so powerful. I don't know if I knew that fact that you shared. That's really cool. That's interesting, eh?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's very funny. I mean, even with like inventions or anything, you when you really study how stuff comes about, it's like one does it, and then like when things enter into the consciousness of
Yeah, yeah.
humanity, it changes the landscape of what everybody else believes is possible.
So cool.
So cool. Very cool. So now I, as you're dancing on point, all these various things, what do you have your sights set on? What are some things that excite you? And maybe the sights are set on showing up consistently. What do you have in your dream? I know you said you like to dream things into existence. So
Yeah.
what are your
Well,
dreams?
I always dreamed about performing. I am like a born performer and like I will get to IABF one year. I promise. That is like a big goal for me is I'd love to perform on point. So I really want to work my confidence up and center on point. It's coming along, I'm just starting with those baby pirouettes. We made a little plan for the pirouettes. Um, and I'd like to get to a point where I'm just feeling a little more comfortable to do a piece, and hopefully my circumstances will allow me to travel. But I'd say that's my pretty big goal right there.
That's exciting. Performing on point is really so different from performing in any other aspect.
That's exciting. I can't wait. And like to wear all the tutu. I mean, also the costumes and everything,
Right.
like everything. I love performing, so I love dressing up. Like, I love it all.
Are you uh gonna perform to something you sang, or are you thinking like a music that's already existing out there in the world?
That would be cool. If I would maybe try to do something that I sang as inspired. See, that's a thing I wouldn't have done on my own, but as suggested by you, and after watching you do the same thing beautifully and being inspired, like I'm like, oh, okay, there's no reason why I couldn't. So I'm gonna say yes.
Well, I did it because I don't like singing, or I'm very afraid of singing. And I did it only because I feel like it's always important to have an even playing field where I know that I'm asking the dancers to do something that they're very scared of. And I'm not scared of performing in ballet. That doesn't scare me. I mean, at this point, it doesn't scare me, but performing singing definitely scares me. So I felt like if I was asking them to put themselves out there doing something scary, that it would be only fitting that I would do something scary as well. So I recorded this song and was not scared to put my to do the dance, but I was like, hearing myself and singing and like being up there had the same feeling that maybe some people have, would have had. So it would maybe a little different reason for you that it's really truly your form of expression. For me, it was a
We
matter of
can
feeling the feels that the dancers would be feeling so I could better relate and support them through through everything.
And that's so compassionate of you. That's like an illustration of why we love you as a teacher so much. Like you are like right there with us. It's amazing. But somehow like this all-knowing guru at the same time. And then I think in both cases, we could pair one of our activities that we're more comfortable with
Yeah.
the one that's like extending us out of our boundaries. And it's like, okay, tying them together makes it a little more comfy. So maybe
Right,
that,
right. You're not just having, I wasn't having to stand there sing in front of everybody, right? I was dancing,
yeah.
which is more comfortable, but hearing my own voice, and you could do where, you're comfortable. You could sing a little bit while you're dancing if you needed to, and then,
Oh my
put
gosh.
it together. Singing does really
Imagine
help point.
dancing and singing on point. I don't know. I've done it
Singing,
in a bar class one time with that music, the cat song that you played.
but singing in your point shoes does help. If singing is relaxing to you, singing while you're wearing your point shoes can help you a lot to relax, especially if singing does relax you, because then you're focused on the singing and you're focused on not the fact that you're scared of your point shoes. So if you can like hold a note through a pirouette, then your core is engaged and your mind is
Mm,
relaxed, and like you
that's right. The
are,
chorus.
a lot more chill in
That's
your
a
practice.
okay. So when you see my lips like going constantly in class, just know that that's what I'm doing. I'm not a crazy
You're
person.
not yelling at Google.
Like making up words to Chopin. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be so fun.
Oh my God. But then if we do that, if I do that, then like you have to promise me that like at least around in the next 5 years, you and I will record ourselves singing a song in harmony and then we'll do a duet to it together.
Oh my gosh, that sounds so fun.
There's my challenge for you. There's or
Okay, well,
invitation.
as long as I don't have to be the one singing the harmony because we're barely getting the melody.
You sing what you want and I'll work around you and then you help me with the ballet.
All right, that's a good trade-off.
Awesome.
That's too funny. So when you're thinking about your ballet journey, is there any other aspects of it that you want to share about that have meant a lot to you, or that were challenging that you want to share with everybody? Are there any other aspects that we should dig into?
Um, I think early on, especially before going on to point, I kind of was feeling bad about my body. Like I was like, I'm like, I know I'm getting stronger, but I don't look like a ballerina and I look too heavy for point. And thank God that there are people in the world that are like, you don't have to be a certain weight to go on point, because that's kind of was the line for a long time, right? And that's why it felt impossible for me. I was like, I'm never going to be that person who goes on point and looks like that. So just like I think that that is a common probably thing that people hear. So I just wanted to like come back on it to say like, I was still like carrying a lot of baby weight when I first started training to go on point, when I first went on point, and it didn't matter. Like as long as I had the strength and was, following what I need to be doing, it and like my body has changed since, and I've lost some of that weight, and it doesn't make point easier. It doesn't really make anything easier. You still have to maintain that weight. Now you have to work hard. Got to keep these muscles. So like, it's just like if there's one thing I wish we could all erase from our head is like body shape and size things, because the beautiful thing of ballet is look at these beautiful lines of all shapes and sizes. I love my Meet Me at the Bar brochure because it has all the ballet silhouettes of all the different normal humans just loving ballet. And that is, I think, something that I think is was a challenge for me. But through this journey, I've really come to a place where I'm like, no, no, everybody truly does ballet. This is not just me paying lip service. Like, yeah,
Yeah, that's so tough. Ballet, because ballet is such an aesthetic art form, people
yeah,
can confuse that aesthetic with like the form of the body itself, right? As opposed to from the inside out, the muscle usage, the actual functionality of it, right? And I think that aesthetic of it can get us, yeah, it can trip us up, whether it's, how you have to quote unquote look to go on point. A lot of people have insecurities about their feet. If their feet don't look a certain way, if their arms aren't a certain length. I mean, people have all kinds of insecurities about if they quote unquote look the part of ballet, right? And again, it's like that changes a lot over time. So like currently what is looking the part is different than 50 years ago, and it's different than 100 years ago. And looking the part in ballet was, not always by people who are super, super thin. It's just the current line, like you said, or at least, I mean, it's changing. It is really changing, and shifting. But yeah, that line is like the weight has less bearing on your ability to be successful on point than your strength and your technique and your ability to control your body. Because someone who is very thin but does not have the ability to control their body will have a very hard time on point. Like you said, it's not about that. Like you lost some weight and it's like point is still hard.
yeah.
It's not
Oh my
easier.
God, yeah,
Point is all
yeah,
about like control and being able to support your body correctly. So it's
yeah.
much less about the number on the scale and about the look of your body than it is about your ability to move your body through space with efficiency and with strength and with technique.
Fully agree. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so much about that. I'm curious. One more question for you. When you're dancing, when you're practicing ballet, I'm curious how you because you also do cross training and various other things. I'm curious because a lot of people want to know like how much should I practice and what should I practice and how should I practice. So I'm curious, what do you practice? How do you decide what to practice? Do you like strategize balancing out different types of classes? Do you think about goals? Like I think our listeners will be really curious to hear how you fit it all in and what you decide to fit in.
Yeah, sure. So, I love live classes. I'm just very motivated by being in a live setting, and you give such amazing feedback. So I do prioritize my live classes. So try to see what I can fit, and usually I want to get at least 1 point class a week, if not two. And then I want to get maybe an artistry and maybe some technique in there too. It also depends on like my energy levels and like my schedule is a little erratic. So it really is like, what can I get live? And then I'll try to see, Sundays are a good day for me to like slot in some extra. That'll be like, okay, I didn't get a really good point class in today, so I'm going to work on a point class from the plan that you and I, uh, collaborated on, and that'll be my like pirouette practice on that day. So it's it's equal parts planned, but it's also like almost like spontaneously planned. It's like I have this menu like ready to go, and I'm like, what fits now? What fits now? And then because cross training can be tough for me, I do a lot of functional fitness in my life. I am a walker, hiker. In my job, I do a lot of heavy lifting. I am a big fan of squeezing in conditioning when I'm doing other things. I am doing releves when I'm brushing my teeth. I'm practicing pirouettes in the living room while I'm like just chilling. I'm always like working on balances when I'm just standing around. My family is always laughing, and my friends who come over because it's just Tara is like randomly doing stuff. So like I know it's kind of like at first feels like, oh no, I have to block all this stuff into my day. But like tying it to those little like, the brushing teeth releves, I find a really easy way to sneak in. Like you get a few sets in here, a few sets in here, a few sets in here in the day. You got okay, I did legs today, and plus a ballet class, and walking, right? And then so it's very cobbled together. But what I've learned is the more stress I put on myself to make everything perfect and fit and like follow up, even when I was running, follow a schedule, never works for me. I have to be like, feel it in my body. So when I was running, the approach would be like, the like I'll run when I want, and when I'm tired, I'll walk. And then I'll just walk as much as I need to. And of course, over time, you're just like, run, run, more, more, more. And then you're like, I didn't even have to stress. I'm running for an hour now. It's the same with ballet. It's just like, what can I do that would fit in? What can I do that would feel good? And I did have a note on my phone where I captured, like, are you bored, Tara? Do, 3 sets of whatever, 10 relevés, and so I would be like, idle times, scroll over, what do I do? Because sometimes I have ADHD too, so I need like the menu in front of me. So I don't know if that tip works for anyone, but like I found making it more integrated into my day helped with some of that.
Love the idea of the menu. That's so helpful. So when you have a little bit of time here and there, you already kind of have some ideas of what might be good to do in that period of time.
Yeah.
Joy that would feel good, that won't drain your energy too much, but that you can just fit in so you know
Yeah.
your overall goals of what you hope to fit in each week. And then when you have time, you can be like, okay, I got that done. I got that done. I didn't get that done. And then if you have 5 minutes, you're like, I,
That's right.
maybe someone wants better hands or better legs, whatever it is. It's like,
Yeah.
on those little details. And that's really smart to capture the menu. Tara's menu. Tara's,
Tara's menu
Tara's
and
movement
stretching.
menu.
Stretching is on there too, because that's an easy one you just do while you're like watching TV or whatever. But yeah, the menu, and then just being like, don't putting pressure on yourself, like, oh, I missed this, so something bad is, it's just like, no, 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 anything is better than it's, that's the only way I get consistency, is like every little bit counts. Anything is better than that. Try it for 10 minutes. If you don't like it, then you, all that mind game is consistency for me, how that works.
Love that. That's so helpful. I know there's a lot of people in that boat who would find a hard time carving out an hour, then will say, I guess I can't do anything today. But your question is such a different reframe. What can I do? What can I do? That's the question, not what can't I do? Because it's like, well, I don't have an hour and I don't have 45 minutes and I don't have 30 minutes and I don't have a bar and I don't have this and I don't have that. But it's like, what do I have? What can I do? What's available at this current moment? That's a huge shift, and a huge shift to when you're a very busy person. That's a huge shift to be like, what can I do right now? And then your brain's like, oh, I have ideas. And you're like, okay,
Yeah.
great.
I'm like, surprisingly, I've progressed. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but just showing up, just show
Yeah.
up and you'll progress.
Right. Anything is better than nothing. Get to it. And like you said, with the running over time, it really does build. And in the beginning,
Yeah.
you say like you only have to do it for 10 minutes and you can stop, whatever, kind of take that pressure off of yourself. And it's funny because over time, what we end up finding is that you don't want to stop after 10 minutes, or like, you get in the mood of it and you want to keep going for longer. And it just builds naturally over time. Whereas forcing yourself to do this and then failing yourself or feeling like you failed yourself or let yourself down is such a heavy feeling that will not keep you coming back. So the lighter you can keep it, especially for something that you're doing that's supposed to be fun and like bring joy to your life and not take a weight, not take something away from you, keeping it light is really, really helpful.
Absolutely.
Do you have any last words that you want to share with our listeners about ballet life, fitting it in, coming back?
Um, no, but I just like, I am so happy to be connected to this community. You guys are all amazing. Like, I just love the positivity and the support. And yeah, like I want to see you all in at IABF someday. That's my goal.
Or
Yeah.
will we singing and performing in our point shoes at the same time?
Right. Yeah.
The first musical on point.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, already working on
All right,
it.
we're already working on it. I love it. Well, thank you so much, Tara, for being on the show. It's so fun to get to hear a bit more about your story and how many things you've overcome to be here, and just that resilience is really amazing and really inspiring. And I know there's someone out there who will hear the story and be like, "I'm in that situation. I know I bet I can do it too. She did it. I bet I can do it too." That is so powerful, and I'm really glad that you're here to share it. So thank you so much for being here today.
Thanks so much, Julie. I really appreciated this chat.
All right, dancers, I hope you had so much fun with this conversation with Tara. She is such a delight and so inspirational. If you'd like to keep following Tara's story, I have her Instagram in the show notes, so be sure to follow her there. I'll be back in your ears next week with another amazing episode, and until then, I wish you very happy dancing.